Alright, we're going to tie up a stonefly. It's one that we've posted on our site as of late. We've got a lot of requests to tie this up. And I have a fly in Rainey's called the Masked Marauder. And we're going to follow a lot of the principles of that fly, even though it's not going to be the exact fly. And then as you see, we've gotten a different vise. This is the Muskoka Magna vise. Really awesome vise we've been messing with as of late. Anyway, I've got the vise, I've got the hook in. I'm going to take some 020 wire and just give it, several wraps of wire. And on this fly, instead of starting right behind the wire, I'm going to attach my thread right in front of the bead. Because I'm going to actually be pulling some Montana fly skinny skin up over the bead to tie it off. Alright, I've just got the thread attached behind the lead. Go back to the bend of the hook. The tails on this fly are going to be biots, and I'm just using like a golden stone colored, a pale yellow. You could also put brown biots on this fly, even though it's a golden. Okay, again, I'm going to tie them in one at a time, one on each side of the hook. I'm just going to trim those off. Okay, over the back of the fly, I'm just going to run a piece of UTC medium copper holographic tinsel. So that would be the next thing that we tie in. Just tie it in right at behind the lead. Take it all the way back. And then the ribbing for this fly is actually going to be just some Coates & Clark sewing thread. I think this color is called Summer Brown. But this is a cheap alternative to wire. And also it kind of gives your fly a little bit of fuzz more than what the wire would. So I'll tie it in so that we can do the rib out of that. Now for the body of this fly, I'm going to be using some Arizona synthetic dubbing. I've got the yellow tan color. There are a lot of different colors that you can use for this. But yellow tan is really good for this golden stone. So I'm just going to dub it directly onto the thread. And stones are pretty fat all the way back, so there's a little bit of a taper, but it doesn't need to be super skinny in the back of the fly. So I'm just going to start wrapping the dubbing up. It's kind of going to look shaggy a little bit. You can always add more if you don't have enough on initially. Okay, so we've got the body formed. I'm going to just pull that tinsel up over the top of the body. Tie that in real fast. Then I'm just going to take the ribbing and go up through the body. Now this is typically the part where you would tie in the wing case material, but we're going to do the wing case a little bit differently, and that's the whole kind of concept behind this Masked Marauder style fly. So we're going to just start dubbing the thorax. We're going to use the exact same dubbing, or you could use darker, you could use some UV dub, something a little bit different. But I'm just going to dub all the way up to the bead. And then when I finish this off, I'm going to try to finish it off right in the middle of that clump of dubbing. And this is where I'm going to attach the rubber legs for this fly. And as you see, I'm building up a little bit of a band, so that's a great tie-in point for my rubber legs. Okay, I've got some Wapsi silly legs. These are the nymph size, so they're a little bit smaller. And the color on these is pumpkin. They're the barred pumpkin rubber legs. So I'm just going to stick one side of this leg here, just do a couple wraps. It's getting squirrely on me. Then pull it around to the other side and do a few more wraps. So there you've got all 4 rubber legs tied in. And the other advantage of doing it this way is sometimes when you tie rubber legs in on a nymph, they're not going to come off at the correct angle. So if you see, as I cut this, those are, I mean, they look pretty good, but if I now take dubbing like I'm going to do and fill in the gap or fill in this band, it's going to kind of push those rubber legs apart and make the angle a little bit greater. So you'll see what I mean when I put this in. This is also a great time to add a hot spot because you're just going to be covering up this dubbing band. So you could take like some orange or some just a, you know, like a fluorescent color and stick it in there if you want. This one is just going to be plain. So I've got some more dubbing and I'm just going to stick that right in between those legs and then maybe a little bit more in front of the legs. So you can see how those will look now. So pretty evenly proportioned. Now comes time for the wing case. I like using thin skin, skinny skin, any type of those skins will work. I found that the Montana Fly skinny skin is a little bit more stretchy, so I've been using that more as of late. So I'm going to take a strip and I'm going to cut it a little bit wider than the width of the bead of the fly. So you can see that's as wide as I cut it. And then I'm going to take and cut a V out. So I've cut it like this. I'm going to take it off and now I'm going to lay this on top of the fly and I'm going to tie it in right behind that bead. Also at this point I'm going to tie in some more of that holographic tinsel. I'm going to tie it in right in the middle of this. So that's going to go right up the middle of the wing case. I'm going to whip finish this portion. And then I'm going to reattach my thread up here. You can bring your thread just over the top of the bead, but sometimes your thread will show through and that drives me nuts, so I don't do it. So I'm going to pull the thin skin or the skinny skin over and make kind of a loose wrap, holding it all in place, and then push down pretty tight. Then I'm going to make 2 or 3 more wraps, and I'm going to pull these fibers up. And this is where it's important with the skinny skin that it's a little bit stretchy, because I'm going to pull it out a little bit, and when I cut it, it's going to kind of suck back into the thread. So I'm just going to pull it up, pull it out a little bit, and trim it off. I'm going to build up a little bit of a head to cover those up, and then whip finish. Notice I only did 2 turns because I don't want it bulky, and we're going to tag this all with hydro. We're going to take some hydro and we're going to just lightly dab it on top of the wing case. Coat the front section and your head. There we go. And I'm going to pull this tinsel back while I cure it. And that will cure it right where we need it to. Alright, now I just come in and trim the legs up. I like to leave them kind of long. Right about like that. So that's the prototype or a version of the Mask Marauder. I've done these flies with extra legs, with antenna. I've used marabou for the abdomen on this fly. I've changed up all the different colors. But as it is, with the majority of the fly being synthetics, you can really change up the colors of this fly to match any type of stonefly that's hatching in your area. Been been fishing this fly for about 2 years now, and it's done really, really well for me. Anyway, take it out, fish it, and have fun.